welcome back to whatever this channel is. Today I thought it would be a good idea to do a tier ranking video of book to movie adaptations. Obviously I've not seen every film and I've not read every book, but I want to make a little list of the books that I've read and their adaptations that I've seen and rank them from best to worst. I've got a really wide range of films in this list, spanning from YA series to more classic works. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, so let's get into it. The tiers include She's Phenomenal, which is the best of the best, no notes. They are perfect in just the way they are, and they are a great adaptation. We've got She's Good. These are the ones that are just shy of perfection but are still really good. There may be a few issues here and there, but overall I would highly recommend. Next is She's Mid, where didn't love her, didn't hate her, not necessarily even a great adaptation, and kind of forgettable, but not bad. Next we've got She's Lacking. These adaptations aren't great, but they're not bottom of the barrel. They're not the worst. And the last one we've got She's Bad. These are reserved for the worst adaptations of them all. Yeah, let's get into it. The first film is Twilight. Listen, this film, despite the hate that it gets, holds strong. This is a good film. Yeah, it's cheesy, but that's kind of the point. It's meant to just be fun and goofy, and I think it follows the book pretty closely. However, I don't think this is a phenomenal film. This is my least favorite of all the Twilight films, and I think that it could have been directed a little bit better. So yes, I love this one. However, I think she could have been better with a different director. So I'm gonna put her in She's Good. Next up, we've got New Moon. This is, for some reason, the lowest rated one out of all of them on Rotten Tomatoes. However, this is actually one of my favorites. The cinematography, the soundtrack, it is a gorgeous film. Visually so stunning. And despite the fact that Edward is barely in it, and Edward is the best part of all the films, I do still think this one is so good. And honestly, I don't think it could have been any better. This one's definitely going in She's Phenomenal. Eclipse is the next one. Listen, I actually didn't really like the Eclipse book. I thought it was low-key boring. It was my least favorite of all of the Twilight books. I don't remember what it was. I think it dragged on for just so long. This book, Eclipse, is a really long book, but the movie, again, absolutely phenomenal. There's the love triangle, there's the battle, it's great. I don't think it could have been made any better, except for the fact that they recast Victoria, and I always hate that. But other than that, I don't think this could have been better. So once again, this is going in She's Phenomenal. Breaking Dawn Part 1. Y'all know what I'm gonna say. Even though this film, nothing really happens in it besides Bella getting pregnant, it is phenomenal. The wedding, oh my god. Actual dream wedding, for real. The romance in this one is really strong. We needed this one to set up Breaking Dawn Part 2. And honestly, I love rewatching this one. It's one of the most romantic out of all of them. This might be controversial, but I'm putting her in She's Phenomenal. Now, Breaking Dawn Part 2. At this point, y'all know where I'm gonna put this. Breaking Dawn was my favorite of the 4 Twilight books. It was the longest, I think. It has different point of views, and the fact that so much happens in it that it has to encompass 2 full films. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Breaking Dawn Part 2, but the fact that they added that battle scene at the end. In the book, it's like 60 pages of people talking, and then they resolve it and then they leave. The movie definitely improved on that aspect. Yeah, there's no other place to put her, but she's phenomenal. Moving away from the Twilight saga, we've got the 2005 version of Pride and Prejudice. I mean, this one is a smash hit. I think this one's a great film. This is one of my comfort films. I have seen it so many times. Keira Knightley as Elizabeth. I don't think it gets better casting than that. The aesthetic leans more towards like a Bronte vibe, but who really cares? It's still stunning. However, the more I watch it, the more I think that we should have gotten a different person to play Darcy. Listen, I love Matthew McFadden, but I'm not sure that he was perfect as Darcy, and I'm just waiting for my perfect Darcy to come along. And every time I watch this film now, I like it a bit less and less just because of that. So I think I'm gonna put her in She's Good. Next up, we got The Hunger Games. Even though it's grittier and handheld and shaky, I think it works for the first film, even though the rest of the films don't look nearly the same. This starting the series out is like the catalyst for everything that happens in the rest of the series. I think it holds up really well. There's a few things from the book that they didn't include, which was sad, like the mutts having the eyes of all the tributes, but you can only include so much in a film, and I think they did a really good job. So this one's definitely going in She's Phenomenal. Next up, Catching Fire. Listen, this one, I mean, I don't think anyone has any notes on this film. This is a phenomenal film. I don't know if it's my favorite of the whole franchise, but it's definitely up there. The introduction of Finnick and the casting as well, and it's also just really stunning. I don't think there's anywhere else I could put this, but she's phenomenal. Okay, we've got Mockingjay Part 1. I think after Twilight came out and they decided to split up their last book, Mockingjay hopped on and they did it too. I don't think this book needed to be split up into 2 parts. I think it could have just been one, because overall I do think that Mockingjay Part 1 is kind of slow. But saying that, it isn't a bad film. Like, it is still a very enjoyable film, especially with PETA, like, the progression of how they're treating him at the Capitol, you know, them at District 13, them going into the Capitol and getting them out. It is still an enjoyable film. It's just not the best of the best. So I'm gonna put this one in She's Good. Mockingjay Part 2, I mean, yeah, this is fantastic. I remember when I read the books, Mockingjay was my favorite of the three. I don't know if that would still stand if I reread them, but I loved Mockingjay book, and this one is all of the good in that book. There's some action-packed stuff in here. And even though they're not in the games, so to speak, they're still in a version of the games in this section. This is a great movie. I have no notes. She's going and she's phenomenal. We've got The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. This is my favorite book in the whole 5 books that we've received so far. Snow being the antagonist, but also being the narrator and the main character is so interesting. The way Suzanne Collins writes his inner monologue is insane. Lucy Gray as a character is so great and tragic. This book is so good, but it's really long, and I don't think the contents of this book fit into one film. And I think that is the overall issue with the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes film. It's, despite the fact that it's almost 3 hours, it's not long enough to house everything that happened in the book. The film's a bit rushed. However, the game portion of this film is really good. I think all of the acting in this film is really good. I think overall what lets this film down is the pacing and taking away so much of what made the book so good. So sadly this one is going and she's lacking. Okay, moving on to some standalone films. Call Me By Your Name. I feel like I might be cheating a little bit with this one. I read about half of this book and DNF'd it because I was just not enjoying it in the slightest. I don't know what it was that I didn't like. I think it was like Elio's inner monologue and just the fact that it was quite boring. It was very different from the movie, if I can recall, and it was so boring. The film, however, is beautiful, so stunning. The soundtrack is amazing, the acting's amazing. I would not recommend the book. I would say just watch the film. I think the aesthetic of this film helps the story so much, and not being able to see that in the book really takes away the charm. So for Call Me By Your Name, she's phenomenal, 100%. Paper Towns. Listen, do I remember the book very much? No. Do I remember the film very much? No. And I've seen the film more than once. I think overall this film was just kind of bland. I think I remember really enjoying the book, and the movie I think leaves something to be desired. I think you always want to see a bit more of Margot. Yeah, I think it just ends on a note where you're like, oh, okay. Why did I watch this? So I'm gonna put this in She's Mid. The Fault in Our Stars. Oh my god, this book is so good. Absolutely devastating. However, the most recent time I watched it, it just didn't hit like it did when I was 14. However, still a really good film. Pacing's great, acting's great. Sad scenes are still very sad. Maybe it's not truly standing the test of time. It does feel very 2014 vibes, but I still think she's really good. So she's going and she's good. Divergent is the next one. Now listen, y'all. I love Divergent. The books leave something to be desired. The first film is so good. Like, one of my comfort films. I think I remember the first book being pretty good as well. Those books are chunky, like really long books. But the first movie in particular, Tris meeting Four, all the casting, Theo James playing Four, like absolutely no notes. She's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal, and that's where I'm putting her. Now, next we've got Insurgent. She's not good. The book isn't good, the film isn't good. I don't think there's much to say about this one. It was incredibly forgettable, but also anything that you remember from it probably isn't very good, so she's going and she's bad. I actually genuinely wish that I had a tier lower than She's Bad, specifically for Allegiant. Allegiant is awful. I think on top of that, it was meant to be the first part, and there was meant to be a second film that came out after it. But they stopped making the films, so that film is just absolute nothingness. I think Allegiant Part 2, or whatever they were going to call it, would have actually been good because of what happens at the end of Allegiant. Tris dies, if you didn't know, and she like narrates her own death in the book, so it was definitely a plot twist. And they just never made that film, so it was never able to be seen. And my god, Allegiant was awful. It was worse than Insurgent. I wish I had a tier lower. This film is 100% going and she's bad. Misery by Stephen King. Oh my god, I just read this book and I just rewatched the film. Before I read the book, I was like, this film's pretty good. Like, she's eating. Now I could not say the same. The film leaves out so many crucial moments and aspects of the book, and I think it really changes the story. In the book, you can read the chapters that Paul Sheldon is writing, and also I think Annie Wilkes is like 10 times more insane in the book than she is in the film. In the film, you almost want to care about her to some weird extent. In the book, she's crazy, and you know it. Though this isn't the worst adaptation of all time, I definitely enjoyed it before I read the book. So purely because I've read the book and understand that they've left a lot out. I'm putting this one in She's Lacking. The Great Gatsby. Ooh, the Great Gatsby book is so good. Genuinely, I need to reread it. I had to read it in high school and it was so good. 1920s flapper dress era. The film is god awful, and I'm sorry to anyone who thinks differently. Every single shot is almost entirely CGI. There's Kanye West on the soundtrack. This book literally takes place in like the golden age of music in the 1920s. So much jazz music that they could have used, and instead they put like Lana Del Rey and Kanye West. Anyone who enjoyed the film, go read the book. The book is so much better. It feels more like 1920s than the film did. The film, I don't even know what they were going for, but it did not hit the mark. So this one is going in She's Bad. Warm Bodies is next. Oh my god. For some reason, I really love this film. The book, I don't really remember very well. I think I didn't dislike the book. I probably gave it like 4 stars. But something about this film, it's just heartwarming. Zombie design is really good. I have absolutely no notes about this film. And the fact that the story is a Romeo and Juliet retelling is so sweet. This is one of my comfort films. I could watch it again and again. And so because of that, I'm putting it in She's Phenomenal. To All the Boys 1. I think this is a great example of a modern day rom-com that is really, really good. I don't know why this film gets any hate. The cinematography is beautiful. They don't really make rom-coms like this one anymore, and it feels so warm and heartwarming. However, the others, I don't know about them. I'm putting this one in She's Phenomenal. To All the Boys 2. I think this one is called P.S. I Still Love You. She's not good. She's not bad. She's really in the middle here. I think they changed directors for this one and then the third one. So the vibes are not the same. You don't really connect with Lara Jean in quite the same way. This one didn't have the same heart in it as the first one did. Because of that, I'm going to put her in She's Mid. To All the Boys 3. I don't even remember the name of this one. This one wasn't, I don't remember anything. I think I probably only watched it once. Again, because of the shift of directors, it doesn't have the same heart. It doesn't have the same cozy vibes as the first one does. This one also was not for me, but I remember it even less than the second one, so for this one I'm gonna put it in She's Lacking. Coraline, oh my god. This was my favorite film when I was like 6. I watched it over and over again. A masterclass on juggling it being a children's film, but also a horror film. It holds up so well even now. I remember the book being slightly scarier than the movie, but I think the movie gets away with losing a bit of that scariness because it is for children. The atmosphere of it being stop motion, Coraline's hair being blue, like that is, I don't think that's a thing in the book, but they just made her hair blue and made it so whimsical. I have absolutely no notes about this film. It's perfect. It's 100% going and She's Phenomenal. Life of Pi. Now this one's interesting because I did not like this book. Like the first 70, 80, 90 pages before he even gets on like the boat were really boring. This book was not really for me, but I appreciate when people like it, and I do think that this adaptation is true to the book while also being visually stunning. I mean, some of the shots in this were crazy. This definitely had to have won some kind of Oscar because visually this film is beautiful. But because of the fact that I didn't love the story, I can't say that she's phenomenal. I think the story isn't necessarily for everyone, but it does leave you questioning at the end. It's a bit philosophical at the end. Even though I didn't love this film and I didn't love this book, I think visually because how stunning it is and how I think it keeps close to the book, I will be putting this one in She's Good. Me Before You, wow. I mean, what an absolutely heartbreaking film and book. This one is so sweet. Emilia Clarke playing the main character, Sam Claflin playing the love interest. Yeah, this one's really heartbreaking if you haven't watched it. Do I think it's a perfect adaptation? No. I remember the book being a lot better than the movie, and I think the book was probably a lot sadder than the film. However, I still think this adaptation really holds up. I think the chemistry between Sam Claflin and Emilia Clarke is really strong, so I'm gonna put it in She's Good. Sense and Sensibility 2008. This adaptation is better than the book. Dare I say. The BBC miniseries 2008 version of Sense and Sensibility I genuinely think is better than the book. I think the casting of every single character is perfect. I think because of the fact that we are seeing things happening instead of just reading Jane Austen writing about people talking about things that have happened, I think this miniseries works so well. It is one of my favorite adaptations probably of all time. Every single person in this is perfect. So 100% I'm putting this in She's Phenomenal. Well, now we've got the 90s and Sensibility. This one I thought was awful. I hate this adaptation. I think the casting is wrong for almost everyone, but particularly Willoughby. I think no one really fits their roles quite as they do in the 2008 version. I think everything just feels slightly wrong. This one, very much not impressed, and for that, shockingly, I'm gonna put this one in She's Bad. The Handmaid's Tale, listen, I have seen the first season of The Handmaid's Tale, so we're gonna go off that solely. This is another peculiar case where I didn't really love the book. I understood why people would enjoy it. I didn't hate the book. I didn't think it was a bad book or anything like that. It just wasn't really for me. However, I do think that the adaptation, because of the fact that it was a show and it was able to really expand on the story, I think the first season, I remember it being quite good. And I remember that it followed the story quite accurately. However, there's definitely more than one season of Handmaid's Tale, so I don't really know where they went with that, because the book ends, I think, at the end of the first season. So I don't really know what happens after that, but first season I remember being pretty accurate to the book. So I'm gonna put this one in She's Good. Everything. Y'all, I don't know what it is about this film. This film is one of my comfort films, and I've said this 12 times in this video, but this film, for some reason, has me coming back every few years and rewatching it. But I think the book was good. I don't think I had any issues with the book, but something about the film, again, I think it was just perfect to visualize it and see it. And when they go to Hawaii, like that whole moment, it's so cute. The soundtrack, again, is really good as well. I have no notes about this film. For some reason, I love it in some weird way. I think it is a bit cheesy, but I do think it holds up really well with the book. I'm being so lenient here with these films, but I'm going to put this one in She's Phenomenal. Now, the last one on this list, we've got Summer I Turned Pretty. The first season was questionable. I'll allow it. The second season, however, was so good. Like, so good. The show is so beachy, fun, very summery. Such a good show to be watching in the summertime. It really just makes you excited to go to the beach. Visually, so nice. And the books, low-key, aren't very good. Like, I've read all three. They leave much to be desired. I think they're quite short. The show, however, is phenomenal. And so I'm gonna put this one in She's Phenomenal. There's nowhere else I can put it. And there we have it. That is my completed tier ranking list. I hope you all enjoyed. Obviously, there's a bunch of films that I either haven't seen or a bunch of books that I haven't read, like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. Let me know if y'all want me to make another one of these, and I'll see if I can start reading some books that have movies attached to them. Let me know if you disagree with me on any of these. It'll be fun to start a discussion. I know I've got some harsh views, but yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you later.